Jack, Albert, Harry, and Sam Warner. They were all born in Krasnoselsk, Poland, and immigrated to America in 1889. The trip was long and tiring. When they arrived in America, they did what some immigrants would do. They changed the family name from Wanskalaster to Warner. Shmuel became Sam, Jacob became Jack, Harris became Harry, and Aaron became Albert. They eventually settled in Baltimore, where Benjamin Warner, the father, struggled to make enough money to provide for his growing family. Following the advice of a friend, Benjamin relocated the family to Canada, where he attempted to make living bartering supplies to trappers in exchange for furs. After 2 years in Canada, Benjamin and his family returned back to Baltimore. In 1896, the family relocated to Youngstown, Ohio, following the lead of Harry Warner, who established a shoe repair shop in the heart of the emerging industrial town. Father Benjamin worked with his son Harry in the shoe repair shop until he secured a loan to open a meat counter and grocery store in the city's downtown area. As young adults, Warner Brothers found them trying to work through a range of various odd jobs. The youngest brother, Jack Warner, he was a street thug, but he quickly grew to like show business as his older brothers. Jack wanted to be a dancer. Sam was the first one to encounter a device that changed his family's fortunes forever. A friend had shown Sam an Edison kinetoscope, a device that projected moving pictures on the screen. Sam became a projectionist in the movie theater, and he showed Thomas Edison's movie, The Great Train Robbery. Sam was convinced that there was a real future in movies, and people would pay to see them. He returned to Youngstown and convinced his father to pawn a watch and his horse to buy their own new projector. They packed a projector and started showing the first movies to audiences around Ohio and Pennsylvania. Eventually, the brothers then rented out an empty storefront in nearby Niles and got their first movie theater. They quickly realized that there was more money to be made by distributing movies to many movie theaters around the area, and the business grew quickly. They had a good success, but they were not millionaires just yet, and they still wanted more. Then Edison and his partners started to sue them about licensing rights. Edison made it difficult for them to get any movies, and the Warner Brothers decided to start making their own movies. In 1918, they moved to California and opened the Warner Bros. Studio on Sunset Boulevard, and that was the real start of the movie studio. Their first nationally distributed movie was called My 4 Years in Germany, and they had so much success that they started to make some money. It might seem absurd, but their first big break was when they found a dog named Rin Tin Tin. Rin Tin Tin movies were very popular and everyone wanted to see them. They started to face competition from other film studios and started losing money. Movies were still silent, and instead of sound, the screen displayed written dialogues and music was provided by a theater orchestra or only a piano player. Sam Warner was envisioning sound in the movies. He wanted to be a step ahead of other movie-making companies. In 1927, Sam teamed up with Western Electric Company and got their invention, Vitaphone, that provided sound to the movies. The Vitaphone allowed them to incorporate sound effects into silent movies, and that very same year, the Warner Bros. Changed the whole history of cinema. Through Vitaphone, the studio released a series of musical shorts and the feature-length Don Juan, which had a synchronized music track. With that invention came the biggest revolution the cinema has ever seen, the talkies. And then, as you can see and hear, the revolution made the movies incredibly popular. With sound came the only genre that couldn't exist otherwise, musicals. People loved singing in movies. The Warner Brothers company grew into a very successful studio under strong leadership of Sam Warner.
Oh, I made up my mind that I wasn't fine, the only girl that I ever loved.
Just when it looked that the movie business was slowing down for Warner Brothers, Sam's vision and ability to believe in sound pictures made the Warner Brothers very successful. They came with their movie Jazz Singer, and it was a great hit and made a lot of money to the company. Audiences across America loved the movie and following musicals, and Warner Brothers became a major player in the movie business forever. Sadly, Sam Warner died at that time, but his brothers did not give up and continued with even greater success. Eventually, every other movie studio started to make talking, moving pictures, and these movies saturated the audiences and they became tired of them. So the production of the movies turned to create more realistic movies, and that became a turning point for the Warner Brothers. Since then, at the beginning of the 30s, Warner became the expert of gangster movies: Little Caesar, Whiteheart, and Public Enemy. Those were some examples of their gangster movies. They all became big hits for Warner Brothers. Under the strong leadership, Warner Bros. Studio became interested in cartoon characters such as Bugs Bunny, Daffy Duck, Tweety Bird, Sylvester, and Porky Pig. They all became central to the company's image in subsequent decades. Bugs in particular remains a mascot to Warner Bros. Warner Bros. Shows an excellent taste in movie actors and actresses and hired future President Ronald Reagan to star in Santa Fe Trail movie. Their other stars were Betty Davis and Humphrey Bogart.
Brown, Ronald Reagan, the Gipper of Notre Dame, as gallant George Custer.
Can't sit under the apple tree with anyone else but me.
Jack, Albert, and Harry Warner were not just producers of movies and big studio leaders. They watched how the world was changing in 1930s and saw a rise of Nazis in Germany as a big threat to everyone. Because they were Jewish, they became concerned how Germans began to treat Jewish people in Germany. At the studio, a 1933 Warner Bros. Cartoon, Bosco's Picture Show, was the first American production to poke fun at Hitler. Hitler was caricatured as the incompetent ruler of Pretzel Germany. Harry produced the successful anti-German film The Life of Emile Zola. After that, Harry supervised the production of more anti-German films, including Confessions of a Nazi Spy, The Seahawk, and You're in the Army Now. Harry then decided to focus on producing more films. They also made funny cartoons poking fun at Germans and other socialist leaders in Europe.
Mama, was ist los? What's this, a dark horse?
As part of his crusade against Nazism, Harry gave several speeches to employees, industry heads, and the American Legion, urging listeners to be on guard for Nazi presence in America. Jack and Harry donated 2 Spitfire planes to the British Royal Air Force. Warner Bros. Feature films attacked fascist ideology by confronting the controversial issues of racial and religious discrimination. When the World War II started, Jack and Harry donated millions to the war effort. Warner Brothers employees donated up to 10% of their paychecks to purchase war bonds. Warner Bros. Advertised war bonds in many of their print ads until the end of the war. After the war, the Warner Brothers studio remained top player in the movie industry. It was a long road for 4 brothers, but their business plan and leadership made the dream happen. Helping to fight oppression of people in Germany was a great example of legacy they left behind. When other businesses were selling their products to Nazis, the Warner Brothers recognized the real danger and elevated morals above business profits. Their courageous stand and against tyranny is something they should be remembered for, and not just for Bugs Bunny, Porky Pig, and Casablanca. And that's all, folks!